They came for work. They came for refuge. They came for freedom. But what they found was war. Listen to this excerpt by United 24.
The exact number of foreigners in the Russian army is unknown, but it's clear that Russia is leaning on them to fill its ranks. In January 2024, Putin signed a decree offering Russian citizenship not just to recruits, but to their families as well. With generous pay on top, soldiers from countries with developing economies moved to Russia in pursuit of a better life. POWs in Ukraine are treated according to the Third Geneva Convention, meaning they are free to choose whether they want to speak to the media or not. So we spent quite some time negotiating with inmates to get their consent.
I'm actually not ashamed of my decision. No.
I see that, that's why I'm surprised.
I have a plan of becoming a president in my country. I know it's already there, but then I still have to limit it. You understand?
Such a controversial and bold statement from the first person we spoke to made us realize that whatever we hear today will likely be either an outright lie or some version of the truth. After trading tobacco for an interview, we finally got to speak with foreigners who thought joining Russia was a good idea.
Ты русский понимаешь, да?
Ну, плюс-минус.
Ну, плюс-минус, смотри. Давай мы на честных с тобой. Пачки сигарет с собой нет, посмотри, что есть.
Табак. Табак.
Умеешь крутить?
Ну, там бумажки нету здесь.
Так у нас есть. Есть бумажка, есть даже фильтры есть, да? У меня тоже.
Вот.
Okay, no problem.
It's a pleasure to have business with you.
You are too. I am 29 years old. I'm from Somalia, capital city Mogadishu. I've been living there all my life. I studied in Somalia. I didn't complete my university there because of my financial problems.
What did you study in university?
Computer applications.
Okay.
Yeah, but because of financial problems, I didn't complete my years there. It's only for 3 years, but I did only 1 year.
And then you decide to look for a job in Russia, or what? Like, lead us through this process, if like from the beginning. So how was it?
My traveling to Russia, it was decided by me that they told me you can get better situation there, better life there. You can.
Told who?
You know, the people in Somalia. They was telling us the Europe side of life is better, is paying you much money, giving you a good chance for the future. Because of that, I decided to step up, and I said to myself, I have to change my future because the future in Somalia, zero.
When you were thinking of going to Russia, did you already plan that you were gonna fight?
No, I was going there for a tourist visa, first of all. And I tried to find another kind of job, like unofficially, because documents are hard to get.
My name is Sabra Omar Nadiali. I'm from Egypt, international, and my age is 26.
And you said you spent several years in Russia, so
4 years and a half.
4 years and a half, why?
And first, I'm traveling to Russia for education.
What were you going to study?
No languages. No Russian language, English, like that. It's the second baccalaureate for me.
Oh, and what's the first one?
In Egypt.
In what?
It's informations.
Information?
Yeah, computer science.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a second intelligent, smart guy who makes this mistake to go to Russia. What drives you guys to Russia? Why Russia? There are so many countries in Europe, including Ukraine. I know we're not the biggest one, so why Russia?
Why Russia? And first, if I wanted to go to Europe, like Germany, France, like that, they need too much. No, they have too much rules.
Too much requirements?
Yeah, rules. You must complete these rules to accept you there. So Russia don't need this. They don't have these rules. So it's very easy to travel in Russia.
How did you end up here? What happened?
Actually, I come to Russia as a visit. I come to find some job. I find some Burger King job. Burger King work as a steward. Then I was work around 2 months, 3 months. While I am working, one of the Indian friend came, temporary worker. I met him. He told you can get Russian passport and good salary.
Do it legally.
Yeah, legally with joint army. And then he tell you will get monthly salary, and 3 months after you will get Russian passport and good salary and everything. He told me like that. After that, I speak to my wife and I say like this. He told no need to worry, because we are not going from the front line, so I stay in the back line, and so after that I decided to I signed the agreement.
Andriy, we spoke with several prisoners from third countries who sided with Russia, and as someone conducting the interviews, I got the impression that, to put it mildly, they weren't entirely sincere in their stories.
Yes, it's very common among foreign mercenaries to have a typical story.
The exact number of foreigners in the Russian army is unknown, but it's clear that
The video you just watched reminds us that in the shadow of the Ukraine-Russia conflict, a quieter tragedy unfolds, one not marked by tanks or missiles, but by conscription papers, detention cells, and broken promises. From the migrant neighborhoods of Moscow to the cafés of Kyiv, men are being pulled into a war they did not start, do not understand, and cannot escape. Russia, desperate to replenish its ranks, has turned to foreign nationals, Central Asian laborers, South Asian students, and African migrants, offering citizenship, wages, or simply threatening imprisonment. Ukraine is no different. Under martial law, it has intensified its own draft, with conscription patrols accused of beating civilians, staging arrests, and coercing enlistment.
Полицию! Не, люди, не калечьте человека! Кто-то ж мобилизован! Да он уже! Документ! Где он? Мобилизован! Пацаны, ну что вы делаете в натуре? Ну что вы делаете? Телефон дайте. Успокойтесь, отпустите. Он уже! Так решите вопрос нормально. Уже приказ! Да что вы делаете? Покажите, покажите приказ! Покажите! Ну что, мы оплатили. Тогда освободите его! Да что вы делаете? Приказ конкретно. Покажите приказ! Покажи сначала, а не запихивай его. Покажите полицию! Отпустите! Полицию! Отпустите вы меня, я не вру! Ну покажи приказ! Не вопрос, да покажи! Покажи сейчас ориентировку на этого человека! Я же покажу! Покажи сначала приказ! Он не убежит! Будь ласка, что я сделаю так? Что вы делаете? Ну я работаю! Я работаю, стоял! Люди, помогите! Пожалуйста, помогите! Куда позвонить? Скажи, куда позвонить?
Я не говорю народу! Накрыта или нет? Вы сейчас не думаете. Алло!
Поставьте ребенка, вы ему руки ломаете, это ребенок.
Пусть видите, что он сопротивляется.
Ему нету призывного возраста.
Если нет, он никому не нужен, вы понимаете?
Ну тогда зачем вы его ломаете?
Если он нарушил закон.
Ломаете.
Его задерживают, потому что он нарушил закон. Не потому что...
Забирай его оттуда. Происходит кража человека несовершеннолетнего.
This is not a story of geopolitical strategy. It is a story of human lives, exploited, manipulated, and discarded. It is a war that conscripts the vulnerable, regardless of flag. And it demands a reckoning. When war demands bodies, borders blur. Citizenship becomes currency. And freedom is traded for survival. Let's look at Russia's recruitment machine. In Russia, The war effort has extended far beyond its borders, into detention centers, migrant neighborhoods, and foreign embassies. Central Asian workers, particularly from Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, have been coerced into military service through threats of imprisonment or deportation. According to Radio Free Europe/Radio Liberty, over 2,000 Uzbeks and 930 Tajiks were recruited under duress, often after being detained for minor infractions or visa violations, RFE/RL, 2024. Foreign nationals from Sri Lanka, Nepal, and India have also been targeted. A Sri Lankan man recounted to Deutsche Welle that he was promised a non-combat role, only to be handed a rifle and threatened with 15 years in prison when he asked to leave, DW, 2024. These tactics reflect a pattern of exploitation, where economic vulnerability is weaponized to fill Russia's ranks. The UK Defence Intelligence reported that over 1,500 foreign nationals were recruited in Moscow alone between April 2023 and May 2024, many under questionable circumstances, Defense UA, 2024. The following is what Putin says about the allegations.
Конечно, там давно находится. Мы слышим, в эфире слышим. То английскую речь, то французскую, польскую. Мы знаем, что они там есть. И эти так называемые наемники, да? Но под видом наемников там специалисты находятся. Вот был вопрос по высокоточному оружию большой дальности. А кто там этим оружием управляет? Кто его обслуживает? Ну, конечно, вот эти самые инструкторы под видом наемников. Вот и все. Они и есть. И несут потери. Может быть, такое заявление связано с тем, чтобы им все труднее, видимо, и труднее скрывать эти потери. Значит, поэтому, может быть, настало время показать, что там официальное присутствие, чтобы и потери показывать реально, легально. Не знаю, может быть.
Let's now look at Ukraine's conscription crisis. Ukraine has also faced criticism for its conscription practices. Under martial law, men aged 25 to 60 are barred from leaving the country and subject to mandatory enlistment. However, enforcement has turned aggressive. Listen to this Fox News guest.
So there's a propagandistic narrative from the beginning that the Ukrainians are feisty, courageous, and are fighting for their own country, and we ought to stand by their side. The reality is the complete opposite. The Ukrainians do not want this war to continue. Zelensky is not using a voluntary army. He's using a conscript army. He is drafting these people who are unwilling to fight and has repeatedly in the last 4 months on 3 occasions increased the punishments for desertion or for people who are otherwise rebelling against this war, because the Ukrainians know that they're being used as cannon fodder for the interest of other people around the world. So it's a conscript army. They're forcing these Ukrainians to go and die in huge numbers for things that are not in their interest. What's in their interest is to negotiate with the Russians over an agreement that will allow Ukraine to keep the parts of their country that want to be ruled by Kyiv, and it's the United States and Great Britain that are blocking it purely for our own interests.
Yeah, and then they're lecturing you. Right. Glenn Greenwald, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for that analysis.
In 2025, Al Jazeera reported over 2,000 complaints of abuse by conscription patrols, including beatings, illegal detentions, and extortion. Al Jazeera, 2025. One man from Zakarpattia claimed he was blindfolded and forced to participate in a staged border-crossing video, then threatened with treason charges unless he enlisted. Families have reportedly paid bribes to keep sons out of uniform, highlighting systemic corruption and desperation. The current draft system has drawn condemnation from human rights groups and civil society, citing disturbing civilian treatment like the following reported by Sky News.
Here, the authorities are trying to stop their citizens from getting out. They're needed in the army. It's short of recruits. But there are thousands of Ukrainians, like these men caught near the border with Romania, who do not want to fight.
So, Both Russia and Ukraine have enlisted foreign fighters, but under vastly different banners. Ukraine's International Legion of Territorial Defense, formed in 2022, includes volunteers from over 50 countries, many motivated by ideology or solidarity. However, investigations by the Kyiv Independent revealed internal misconduct, poor vetting, and mistreatment of wounded fighters, some of whom were denied compensation after being forced to break contracts. Kyiv Independent, 2024. Russia's foreign battalions is also widely constituted. Recruitment centers in Cuba, Syria, and Nepal have offered citizenship and financial incentives to economically vulnerable populations. According to War on the Rocks, this strategy reflects a broader imperial logic, outsourcing bloodshed to those with the least power. War on the Rocks, 2024. So, this is not a tale of saints and sinners. It is a reckoning. A war that conscripts the poor, the undocumented, the desperate, on both sides. Liberation cannot be claimed through forced hands. And no nation fighting for freedom should steal it from others. The Ukraine-Russia war has become a crucible not only for national sovereignty but for the integrity of human rights. Both nations, in their pursuit of survival and victory, have crossed ethical lines, enlisting the powerless through coercion, deception, and systemic abuse. Russia's recruitment of foreign nationals, often from marginalized communities, reflects a pattern of exploitation. Ukraine's aggressive conscription tactics, including unlawful detentions and physical abuse, breach the principles of dignity and consent, even in wartime. No cause, however righteous or defensive, justifies the stripping of agency from those least equipped to resist. The conscription of strangers, be they migrants, students, or civilians, into a war not of their making is a shared indictment. It is not enough to condemn one side while excusing the other. In the end, liberation cannot be claimed through forced hands. And peace cannot be built on the backs of the unwilling. This is Liberation Lens, Perspective Matters.